Without further ado, Mr. Troy Smith.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. My God. So I'm gonna be. It's not gonna be long, but I appreciate that, William. It sounds very heartwarming. I hope all that was definitely true because it sounds good. I'm glad it's recorded, possibly. So, one thing that's beneficial. Do y'all want me to sit down or y'all want me to? What's make y'all comfortable?
Whatever you're.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure y'all feel good. But one thing that's good to be here early and hear everybody's story. Your mind starts to go in a different direction and say, okay, I'm gonna talk about this now. Of course, I came here to talk about the book and the mindset of successful thinking. What's important about it? It's a thought process. But then I start thinking about it. There's a lot of new people that's here, people that's also been in the business for a while. And I believe I'm here to inspire people to be better than they were 5 minutes ago before they met me. My goal in life is to inspire, encourage, and edify people to be better than they were 5 minutes ago before they met me. So when you leave or when I'm done, you at least say, man, that sounds good. That made an impact on my life. That's my whole thought process. But there's nothing new said. I'm not going to say anything new to you all today. You already basically know it. It's just about actually putting it into play. I mean, I don't know about y'all, man. We have people go to sales meeting at the time. They go, he's going to motivate us. She's going to motivate us. And rah, yeah. The next thing you know, you leave like, that was cool. And I'm going back to regular life now. But my hope is to actually just hope to transform the way that you think just a little bit. I'm going to tell you this story. So not when I first got married. I got married in 2008. So my wife and I have been together total 15 years. We married 13 years this year. Got 2 kids. We call him Sir Duke because my son, he's 5. My daughter's Duchess Kaya. I didn't want to say princess or prince. I'd say I want to do something different. So I just said, that's my Duchess and this is the Duke. You know what I'm saying? Sir Duke. Sirred him a little bit, knighted him. But besides that, I've been in banking in the financial industry for almost 15 years. So over 13 years, I've been in the financial industry. And got to a point to where I started out in the branch, calling people, doing some teller work here and there. Went from doing, to being the guy that's over at the desk. See, when I grew up in Knoxville, you didn't really see a black person on the side at the desk. They probably was over at the teller row and giving you your money, but never no one to come out with the suit on and say, how you doing? What can I do for you today? Come into my office. You didn't see that. So for me to get to that point was like a big achievement to me. So I did that for a while and got to a point where I did private banking, did some investments and stuff. And I was making over $100,000 a year. And then let me put it like this, not the big one. I'm talking about like 105. So people say I was making 6 figures. You're like, but what was the 6 figures? Like 100 or bigger? So no, it's like low 105 range. But it's got to a point though, Will, that I wasn't satisfied though. I couldn't really get away to go do stuff for my family. So like what you said, you was on the road a lot, doing a whole lot of traveling, but you got tired of that. So you want to actually change some things. And I think possibly do more with your family. Be around, have some more access to do some things. I don't have to worry about nobody asking me when you coming back from lunch. Okay, man, so did you go on your break yet? Okay, well, dude, you can't take off this week because if you take off, then we got to make sure William can take off. And that stuff got old. My wife had our second child, Kaya, and we had some complications after pregnancy. I don't know if y'all are familiar with postpartum and stuff like that, but it's serious. I had a lot of people tell me, hey, man, postpartum is real. I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep saying that? Are you trying to jinx me or something? Then boom, we experienced it. So I had to be with my wife often. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. So I couldn't I'm living in Hendersonville. I couldn't just keep driving back and forth to Nashville. And my mind was not there. So you know how you go to work, but your mind is not there. Your mind is at home, and then you're at home, your mind is at work. And I need to be with my wife or be with my kids, make sure everything's okay. Got a nanny, make sure everything's all good. I said, I got to do something different. I was about to get fired. I was on my love sent my name on the list of people, and it was good for a while. But in sales, though, it's all about what you done yesterday. Like, what have you done to now? You did that yesterday. You did that before. What are you doing now? What have you done for me lately? And the writing was on the wall. Either gonna get fired or you need to quit. And I remember someone was telling me, asking me about going into mortgages. That's what I do for a living now. I do mortgages. Help people get homes, and then I actually turn them over to you guys, hopefully get them some insurance policies or something. But I was like, man, I got to do something else. So I called my guy that was in mortgage and said, hey, Stuart, can you get me on in the mortgage thing? Oh, yeah, you'll be perfect for it. But they start putting me through the ringer of like, it's full commission. I know you've been making salary money. It's a whole different ball game. As you all know, insurance and commission stuff and That's all. I don't know if y'all get commissioned fully, but that's the whole different world. But I said, I don't care. Now I got 2 kids, a wife, and I'm going to change my whole pay type. But it gave me more access. But have you ever heard of a person, if you give a person a lot of money that's not used to having money, they're going to blow it? Well, here's another thing. If you give a person a lot of time that's not used to having time, they'll blow that too. And that's what I was doing. I had more time at my house. I got to do what I wanted to do, meet who I wanted to meet, spend more time with whoever I want to spend time with. But I wasn't making no money at all. No, let me take it back. I had a guarantee. So I had a guarantee for a while. Then that guarantee started to run out. And I did some of the most embarrassing things by going back to my boss and say, hey, you think you can extend that guarantee for me? No. I mean, this is what you need to be doing. Yeah, they paid me some good money. So I was trying to do a whole lot of different things to try to compensate besides concentrating on my freaking job. I started doing my public speaking thing. I started doing little conferences, not making no money from it. I just started doing a whole lot of different things, put my hand in different pots. A lot of businesses I had started, but it came down to a point where I had to focus on one thing. And I want to encourage y'all with this idea here. Even if you're new or if you've been in the game 15, 14 years, you got to concentrate on the one thing. And so it's a focus question. It's a book I read called The One Thing by Gary Keller, the guy that founded Keller Williams. Besides my own book that I love, that's one of the most impactful books I've read. But he had something called the focus question. And I want y'all to write this down. And I may be butchering it, but I'm going to try to keep it as close as possible. But it says, what is the one thing I can do that will make everything else easy or unnecessary? What is the one thing I can do that can make everything else easy or unnecessary? They hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I started saying, Troy, you need to actually focus. And I want to encourage y'all with that idea to actually focus on the one thing. Country Financial, your business that you're doing, concentrate on that one thing, but will feed everything else. So now, when I concentrate on actually being a mortgage loan originator, I can come and do this right here. Because my business is already moving, it's working. I was able to concentrate on one thing. See, I was doing mortgages for 3 years at that time. 3 years I was doing mortgages, but I wasn't really a mortgage loan originator because I was doing other stuff. Like doing insurance. You can be an insurance. What you do? I work for Country Financial. I do insurance. I do ROP, return on premiums and all that. Oh, I'm glad you asked about it. Let's talk about it more. They do all that stuff, but have you really made it up in your mind that's what you're actually doing? And that's the only way you can truly be successful, besides having the mindset of actually doing it, but you got to make the decision to say, this is what I do. I can name out, so let's name someone that you know they do one thing, but they do a lot of other stuff with it. You got who? Bill Gates? What is he known for? Microsoft. Is he known for changing tires? No. Is he known for anything? What about Elon Musk? Tesla. Now he might be doing other stuff, but the one thing he focused on is what's driving all that, right? Michael Jordan. Basketball. He played baseball though. Look, he played baseball. But no, Emmitt Smith. I mean, you think about Tom Brady. Football. I mean, anyone you think about, Celine Dion, what she do? Sing. Okay then. Julia Roberts, what she do? Act. Denzel, act. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is these people can do a lot of different things, but they're known for this. This is what I do. And after I'd done that and actually decided to be a mortgage loan originator, that's when I started making from 100,005. My biggest year I was 200,000 almost. But the fact is, because I decided to do it, because before that, I was making nothing. I went from 100,000 to $64,000. That's when, I got a guarantee, but man, I can make more. I meet all these people that say, man, you're going to love it. You're going to love doing this business. You're going to be loving it. You're going to go to Disney. You're going to win some trophies. You're going to do a lot of stuff. But you listen to those people, you ask them, how did they get there? They decided to do something. So like Tyler, right? Yes. I keep wanting to say Taylor, and it's Tyler. Taylor's fine. That's my best friend, though. Best friend. But that's my best friend. But look, it came to a point to where I said, this is what I'm going to end up doing. Like he mentioned before earlier, he said that there's nothing different about these people that do stuff successfully. Only thing that's different is that they decided to do something. They're not special. Okay, I feel bad for saying that, but they're not. They're not special. There's nothing different between anyone else in here that's on the top of the list or the bottom of the list. They just decided to do something. So The Mindset of Successful Thinking is a book I created, or I wrote, it's been an idea since 2008. Didn't start writing on it until 2015. I wrote 5, but I was thinking about it. Okay, if I write this book, I was thinking about I need to make it thick so people can feel like it's important. It's an educational booklet. And then I said, but even if it's smaller, as long as it's impactful, it could be 15 pages. One of the most impactful books I've read was only 48 pages. The Grant Cardone book, can't remember exactly what it's, but 45 pages long. But I said, okay, if I want to make a book, I need to make it small like that. So I looked at my wife's book. She read all those novels, Fabio and all that stuff. And they're that size. Because the reason why they're that size is because it's all about the why. And the reason they're that size is because they can slide it in their purse. You need to pull out the freaking concordance or commentary, say, oh, this book right here will change your life. I'm not reading that. But if I make it small and make it impactful within 100 some odd pages, it's going to be good. So I prayed about that. And it happened where I said, I'm going to make it like that. We done it, finished it. But the chapter I stopped on, it's a chapter called Procrastination. And I stopped. I was almost done, literally. It took me a year. I put the book down, and 2 years later, that's when I finished it. And I went back to the chapter I stopped on. I said, oh, procrastination. Procrastination, not your friend. It's not. But the fact is, I said I'm going to make my mind up and actually do it. So I thought about 4 pillars that makes you actually successful, that would encourage you to be successful. I can't say, it's really up to you. Anyone know what success means to them? Can someone tell me what success means to them? Laura?
Being successful to the point that I could provide for my family comfortably.
Mm-hmm. How much money does that need to be?
There's no limit.
Okay, good. Because people say that. What about you, Bambi?
Actually being financially secure enough to stay home with my family.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, buddy?
To provide for my family, but just really to make a meaningful impact in people's lives. That's success to me.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Fabio?
Buddy and Fabio.
Pretty boy.
Success to me looks like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, freedom schedule, freedom finances.
What about you, Kirby? Kirby, right?
Yeah. I just really want to be able to, whenever me and my wife decide to start having a family, give her the option of what she wants to do and if she wants to raise the family. And I also want to fund my dad's mission trips.
Mm-hmm. Ryan?
Being able to be recognized and being able to help others and position myself to be a true giver.
Mm-hmm. ROP?
I want to have a legacy. When I leave this world, I want to know that I did good and people to remember that was a good guy. He helped me a lot.
New guy.
I think balance. So, firing on all cylinders here, getting it done, but have the family, the grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
Just keeping it all balanced and making it happen.
Balanced life. Mayor?
Yeah, there's so many different things, but I think the number one thing is making sure that my 3 kids have a good life and that they become a contributing part of society, and they get that from the way I contribute to other people.
What about you, Big T?
It's a great question, Troy. And right now, today, I can say that having the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I was just sitting here trying to think of the book that I read this in. I can't remember, but it talks a lot about, when you leave this world, it doesn't matter what you did if you didn't have an impact on people. And if you're not remembered, then it's not a life wasted, but what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I really just want to have an impact. I want people to say, a good person left this world and he made the world a better place. But I will say that before I embarked on this journey, and I talk about this a lot with our reps, when I first started, it was about money. And I love that chapter in your book, and just talking about, I think that's what most people say, right? I want to make a lot of money, and I want to have I wanted a boat, the $120,000 wakeboard boat, and I wanted this cabin and a houseboat and a lake house, and I wanted all that. And that's what really drove me in the beginning of my career. And then as time went on, and I think maturity and just developing into what I was talking about earlier, I think that what's important to me now has changed a lot. And I don't know if that's maturity. And that was our conversation. My question to you was, like, how do we get people to start down that journey? And when I started on that journey, the definition of success changed drastically for me.
What about you, Rockstar?
It's for me, I've had success over the last 20 years, and like that was my goal for my life, was what I did over the last 20 years, and I impacted people's lives eternally, and did what I wanted to do there. And now I've got this family, and my success now is the freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and like I know that the impact's already there, and it's continuing to do that with what I'm doing now, but I want to be successful in knowing that I can provide anything I want to for my family, anything they need, and just change the next generation, like my parents did for me. I'm in a completely different place than they were, and I want my kids to be in a completely different place than I was. You always want to do better, so I think I took care of me for the first 20 years of my adulthood. Now I want to take care of my family.
So the main ingredient that everybody just said, if y'all can relate, it was something to do with somebody else. I want to be able to do what I want to with my family. I want to be able to provide and leave a legacy. They ain't got nothing to do with you. That's for somebody else to look at, right? So when I started thinking about what success means to me, I started thinking about how I want to inspire people to be better, and I started thinking about the idea of what my gifts and talents are. I can talk to anybody. I don't mind being in the crowd. I don't mind being the only meatball in the rice. I don't mind any of that stuff. It don't bother me, because I've decided that my mom used to get mad at me so much when I was little. Like, I just talk to anybody, like my kids do now, and I'm like, hey, you gotta be careful a little bit. But I would just talk to anyone. She used to just smack the back of my head, like, stop talking to everybody. But now she's like, I'm so thankful that you talk to everybody, because I oftentimes ask myself, how did I even get here? Like my man T was talking about today, how did you get here? How can you be from the inner city projects, I guess in the sense that's been, a lot of places been torn down, but how can you, and there are black people in Knoxville, how can you be from the project in Knoxville, Tennessee, there's like 10 projects, I lived in 8 of them. Till I was grown and went to college. That's when I moved from the projects. It's like I moved to another project because I moved into a dorm. But what I'm saying is, how'd you get here? You was around the same people that make the decisions after decision that got them in trouble. How'd you do that? How can you be in the same spot 5 minutes later, that person gets shot at, but you wasn't there? How can you be somewhere and do all these things? How did that happen? How can you actually I remember I used to joke on this person that's talking about country club stuff. I was talking to somebody and they said, oh yeah, so-and-so's a membership at the country club. She's gonna try to take you to lunch. I said, why do anybody gotta tell somebody you're part of the country club? That's so prideful, until I became a member of one. I'm like, yeah, let's go lunch at the country club. Because it's a badge of honor to me, because they didn't want me there at one time. They probably still don't. But the good thing is, I meet people like William there. You follow what I'm saying? I get to talk, oh, you're part of the country club. It's a whole different status, thought, conversation when you do that. Yeah, man, I'm going down to play a little golf there. You play golf? Oh, really? You at the country? Let's go play. At first, it's all about exposure. And if you've never been exposed to it, you always think negative about it. If you never had money, you always think negative about money. Money is not everything. You're right, you never had it, so you don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you never had it, you always think negative about it, but that's a whole nother thing. So the 4 pillars of developing a mindset of successful thinking is this. Number 1 is being understand the importance of education. Now, I'm not talking about within the 4 walls of education. I'm not talking about at the school I'm talking about educating yourself on who you are. That's important because oftentimes we do a lot of stuff for other people, not knowing who we are. If I asked Lord why she became a professional dancer, Lord, what was your reason for becoming a professional dancer?
Because that's what I wanted. That was my passion since I started when I took my first class at 18 months old.
That's what you wanted to do. No one said you're going to go out here and put this makeup on and then, none of that. That's what you wanted to do.
That was what I wanted to do.
Oftentimes we don't get to do what we want to do until we get older. Some child was groomed by their parent or someone because they was told that you're going to do this. You're going to get in insurance because your dad's an insurance agent, your mom's an insurance agent, your brother's brother, daddy was an insurance. I mean, it's a whole lot of that. Not because of what we chose to do. And people don't understand the importance of educating themselves on themselves. Rather than taking the type of assessments, just learning who you are. What did your friends say about you? When people around you, what do they say about you? What do they say about you, Ryan? I hope they say I'm a good guy. I hope they tell me that I actually lived the life that I need to live, and he actually is a person I would refer business to. Not low, I'll go Ryan. Yeah. It's raining outside. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that guy. I want to be the person that I'm educated knowing who I am and what I bring to the table. If you don't know the value you bring, you cannot be valuable to other people. Right? The second thing is the importance of appearance. Now, what Will was talking about having, I was actually going to college and I spoke to my English professor. I went in to speak to her. Her name was Miss Parham. And she's very proud when I wrote that book because she's like, oh my God, you wrote a book. But I went into her office to try to negotiate with her why I should get a better grade. Everybody did that in school. Hey man, how you doing, teach? How you doing? I know it's near the end of the semester. How do I get an A? You got an F. You can't get I'm trying to go in there and negotiate. And but I used to always show up to class late. Used to always wear my outfit at the time. It was very poor athletic look. It wasn't even a nice athletic look. Had a cut-off shorts, cut-off shirt, just trying to show my guns off, and house shoes. That was my normal wear. Not that I was clean. It didn't bother me nothing. Walking in, slide my feet, sag a little bit, And I went in there trying to negotiate with her. She said, Troy, why do you think you deserve a B? Not even an A. She said, you get what you actually put in. You put in C effort, you get C effort. Yeah, you do your work, but you're not applying yourself. You're not putting it all towards that. You haven't made the decision to do the right thing. I said, man, what you trying to do? I mean, come on, I'm coming to class. Like I deserve, that's what you're supposed to give me. I at least showed up. That's one part, but you're not putting forth the effort. Won't you do this for me? Won't you start actually enunciating your words? What you trying to do? Make me sound white? Exactly what I said. What are you trying to do? Ryan, do you ever relate to this stuff? Yes. What are you trying to make? When you in the black community at times, it's frowned upon because you actually went to school. Nothing personal, it's just that we don't have the exposure at times. So it's like, hey, what are you trying to do? Make me sound white? Oh, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? Oh, you trying to sound better than me. She said, when does talking educated start becoming white? I said, well, okay, I heard it a lot, but okay, whatever. And she said, also, you might want to carry yourself a little bit differently. You're a leader. She's talking all this stuff then that I really wasn't getting. I said, okay, whatever. I walked out. So I was doing campus ministry at the school for a while. And one of the pastors sat me down. And he said, hey, Troy, let me holler at you for a second. He brought us all, he was calling us in one by one, all the campus ministers or whatever. And I said, what's up, Shino? Hey, man, we got to change the way you look, man. You got to change your appearance. What you talking about? I'm changing lives. I'm inspiring people. People going to church, buddy. Why are you tripping? It don't matter what I come in with. It's what I bring out. I'm playing churches with my house shoes, cut off shorts, and T-shirts. I'm going down front when they say ministry team, come down front. We got people that pray with you. I'm the only one up there just looking raggedy, just like arm out, deodorant showing. You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. Come on down. We're gonna bless you. But I was so pissed off about it to where I went to work that next day. No, that same day. I worked at Athlete's Foot at the time with my boy Arvin. That's like my best friend, like my brother. And I said, man, I'm pissed off. He said, what you mad about? I said, man, she know. trying to tell me to change the way I dress, like I ain't making an impact or something. So I was pissed off sitting on the rounder. I don't know if you know what a rounder is, but it's the one that got all the clothes around it. And you see the dealers a lot. But I'm sitting on the rounder like, man, I'm just pissed off about it. Man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna piss everybody off. I'm gonna change it up. I ain't gonna do nothing but wear dress clothes from now on. Like I was making somebody else upset. I ain't gonna do nothing but wear dress clothes from now on. And that's next day when I went to go big and tall, bought me some dress pants, dress shirt. People like, oh my God, you always look so nice. I just wore house shoes and cut off shorts yesterday. How you tell me I look so nice today? It's all about the appearance. No matter what you say, people are gonna see you first before you even say anything. So it been in sales, that made me start thinking, all this stuff happens now. Something happened before, it's all coming to fruition today. Like, being successful, want to have a lot of money was one thing. But now when you start thinking about doing things for other people, you got to be able to present a better package. And I just like, I'm not wearing clothes or dressing nice for me. I'm actually dressing nice for William. If William want to introduce me to somebody and I look like a piece of crap, he ain't gonna bring me up. Troy's a good guy, but you don't need to meet him. Yeah, he got deodorant stage, but man, he's so powerful and impactful. Look, hey, you're right. John the Baptist was impactful too. He wearing nothing, no worry if he's wearing, but hey, different stuff for different folks. That's not how I'm gonna be able to get to where I need to be. All this stuff started making sense when I was thinking about how can I be successful in life. The third thing was relationships. I did not know how important relationships were until today. All that talking I was doing when I was younger to all these people I didn't know, stuff started changing around. That all start coming playing in my favor because I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind talking about the ROP and tell me about the conversation. If we're in this business of selling insurance, that's one of the unfortunate taboo words, insurance. Ugh. I'm good. Now you got to go through the whole minutia of that before you even get to talk to them about what you got to offer them. Right? That goes back to now making the decision that why am I doing what I'm doing? I'm giving my family peace, giving my family financial assurance. I'm doing these things for a purpose, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. But I got to do these things to make sure I take care of everything else. So I had to focus. So it's all going to tie back together about the focus question. What am I doing? What can I do that'll make everything else easy or unnecessary? I just took it all back. I'm going to bring it back to you, okay? But the importance of relationships. Relationships got me to where I am. When I asked myself, how do I get here? From the projects, I forgot to tell you, my mama had me when she was 16. I forgot to tell you, I'm one of 16 on my daddy's side. I'm the third oldest on my dad's side. 16 kids, 10 baby mamas is what he has. Raised in a single family home with my mother at 16 years old. She had 3 kids. I'm the man of the household. How did I grow up in these projects and doing certain things and not be in trouble or get in? I could not steal. I tried stealing. I tried it. I got caught every time. I wasn't good. And I felt so bad when I did it. That's why I'm so glad my integrity was kicking in younger and easy. I tried to steal from the mall. I went to the mall to steal with some of my friends. I'm just be honest with you. It's past. They can't come and get me now. But they used to say, get a bag from Foot Locker. You'll get a bag from Foot Locker, and then you could take it around to each store and just start throwing stuff in it. This is before they start putting those things on the clothes. And I felt so bad taking it off the rack and putting it in the bag. I just felt bad. So I took it and gave it to somebody else. So this ain't for me. That's the one time I didn't get caught. But when I didn't go to the mall with them again 2 weeks later, they was on the news for stealing. I was just there with the same people. I tried to steal some comic books. This is how stupid I am. I tried to steal some comic books one time. My boy used to be able to steal so easy, put in his pants and walk out. I did the same thing, but I did something dumb. I took the comic books. No one wants to buy comic books on the street. I was walking around like, hey, you want to buy a comic book? Want to buy a comic book? No, I don't do comic books, man. I'm sorry. I went across the street to the skateboard place, right across the street from the freaking comic book store, and tried to sell him the comic books. He said, I'm good, man. He walked across I turned around when I walked to the street. He went in to the to the comic book store and said, hey, I think this guy stole some comic books from me. And all of a sudden I seen this guy run out. I said, hey, you freaking. I said, here, man, I didn't run. I don't run from nobody. Here you go, man. You can have him back. He said, I should call the police. I said, I'm sorry. And that was my last time stealing. Trying to anyway. You follow me? But what I'm saying is, how did I get to this spot with the same situation going on, same people, same atmosphere. It had to come from, I believe, God. One thing had his hand on me for sure. But the next thing is I made a decision to not do certain things. You follow what I'm saying? I made a decision to actually build relationships with the right people to help me get to where I need to be. There's a saying that a lot of motivational speakers and people say. They say that help enough people get to where they need to be, you will in turn get to where you need to go. If I help enough people get insurance policies, show them the importance of return on premium and all this other stuff, then I will be where I want to go by taking care of my family. It's all about helping other folks. I mean, it's a true saying about servanthood. We're here to serve. Ecclesiastes talk about, hey, I'm here to serve people. When you think about it, that's what I'm here for. That's it. Why Chick-fil-A so successful?
They're there to serve you.
My pleasure. I ain't been to a bad Chick-fil-A yet, besides one. But it wasn't bad. It's just they took too long. Because all the time when they take too long, they say, here go a coupon. Next sandwich on me. They didn't give me one. I was pissed off. But the fact is, it's all about servitude. If you look at this business that you're in of serving other people, you're going to be successful in what you're doing. It's all about relationships. That relationship that you're building with that person that turns around and talk to that person, turn around and talk to this person and say, Laura's a great candidate. She does everything right. I used to have a bad thing about insurance people, but she made me think differently. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you need to meet her too. That's how that all works. Relationships. I had my first lunch one time with a billionaire one time, right? I don't know if you ever met one. It's like a deer or something, right? I had lunch with, y'all know the guy at Dollar General? Y'all ever heard of Dollar General? Cal Turner. Now, Cal Turner and I would never be able to meet each other if I didn't have a relationship with someone that introduced me to him. You follow what I'm saying? This guy's office is as big as this place. This is the office with a bathroom in it. It's it's different experience. And we're talking about how our life was somewhat the same when it really wasn't, but he's on the other side of the tracks. I was on this side of the tracks, but he still seen things differently as well. Like I was telling my man T, is there, and I'm talking about Tyler. Just
call him T.
Tyler.
Thank you.
Mr. T.
Just call him Mr. T. But I was talking to him, we talking about, I said, everybody has a story, because everyone does have a story. Everyone has a book in them. I believe everybody should write a book. And a lot of times people say, my life's not that important, not that big. I really didn't go through a lot of hell. My life was well, different things. But honestly, like I was telling him, everybody's life is important. You're going to have something that someone's going to say, if it wasn't for that book or for his story, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have never known he worked at Wendy's if he didn't tell me. I would have never known he felt embarrassed working at Wendy's unless he told me. I would have never known William was born in the freaking Appalachian, the mountains, and his idea was either, I'm going to be in a trailer home. I mean, people saying, hey, man, that's the way they grew up. They grew up, I'm going to live in a trailer for the rest of my life, right? I'm going to be in a trailer, man. But that was his idea. His thought was something bigger. You follow what I'm saying? I would have never known unless he told me. When you have the opportunity to either be, you mind if I say, part of the KKK?
Yeah.
Or be this way. I mean, he chose to do something different. You follow what I'm saying? Bambi, your story is important too. It's definitely serious. Running a business at one time to work for someone else, but understanding the fact that running a business with your spouse is a story in itself. Right? So, I mean, Ron has stories been in Illinois. Coming from Colorado? Who the heck is in Colorado that lives there? Are you from there, born and raised?
No, I'm from Chicago, but lived in Colorado 17 years.
No, who goes to Colorado besides not playing football or something? You follow what I'm saying? All this stuff is important. Coming from California, here, and to get in the insurance business, who the heck does that? Who wants to do that? Coming from the country club. Insurance business, from waiting tables to insurance. You follow what I'm saying? This stuff is important. From preaching, that's almost like in itself, almost people say you're a minister or a preacher, a preacher or an insurance agent, that all come together, but actually taking your integrity to put it in the game that people think is full of negativity. That's huge. And that's why you got to be around the right people and the right team to help build that up, to show, man, we're going to a national championship. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be national champs. That's good for you, buddy. Proud of you. But William remind me of Michael Jordan. You know, I don't know if y'all seen The Last Dance, But when you got to the point where you do successful, you got to make stuff up. You got to create a chip. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, Michael Jordan used to make things up to say, you talked about my mama or something. So I'm going to treat you bad on the court. When you already done made it here, what is that left to do? You got to make it up to make sure you got that chip going. So like he's talking about that guy that my boy Kirby says is a great dude. He said, he's not a bad guy, but still, I got to put him there so I can. Yeah, he got to be the bad guy right now so I can freaking overcome this thing. But relationships, man, relationship is important to be around the right people. And I believe I got the right leader in place to do that. That's the honest truth, regardless how old he is. He carry himself as in that level of authority, which y'all all would take a piece of that to say, this is who I am. This is what I do, You follow what I'm saying? We country financial, dude. What you talking about? National champs. And the last thing is strategic planning. You have to plan stuff out. What good is to have a GPS if you don't know where you're going? We rode up here on this road here, right? But what good is there to have a car if you're not going to get in there and know where you're going to go? What benefit is that to go through life like, I don't know where I'm going to go, I'm just doing it? No. You got to have a destination. They say a ship is not being used for, no, bump that. You see that guitar right there? Is that guitar living its purpose right now? Is the guitar supposed to be sitting there as a decoration or is it supposed to be used and played? Right? Your gift that you have is supposed to be actually used. And you're going to shame on you if you don't use it. So you have to plan stuff out so I can actually use my talents I've had from being a dancer, bringing joy to people, inspiring them. Because believe it or not, you was actually encouraging folks as you were performing positively. You follow what I'm saying? When you were doing music, you was changing lives and people were like, oh my God, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get my life together. When you was waiting tables, you wasn't just doing it for your own purpose. You're trying to serve them to actually be benefited, get paid more. But when you're doing ministry, you wasn't just sitting there just to be, I'm a preacher just to be doing it. You're trying to change somebody's life. You follow me? But you got to have it planned out. And that's one thing I had to learn real quick. Because as I was doing all this stuff, I had no plan and I wasn't focused. I knew I wanted to be successful in life, but I never knew what that looked like. Besides either card money, probably some girls or something like that. But cars and money, but as I got older, like my man T, that started to change and morph into something else. You follow what I'm saying? It started changing where it actually was about my family. The reason I became a mortgage loan originator is because my wife needed me. And I didn't want to have to keep asking about, can I go on break? Yeah. Or when I leave, I can work from home. I got a laptop, but we really need you in the office. Bump that. I don't have to be here. Country Financial told me to come up here and speak to them and have some encouraging time with them. I'm going to go do that because my business over here is working. I focused on it. And I want to encourage each and every one of you guys, regardless if you've been in the business for a while or new, if you really want to be successful in what you're doing, you got to focus on this is what I do. And then everything else comes into play with the 4 pillars of that: importance of education, the importance of appearance, the importance of relationships, and the importance of planning. Every successful person I know that's in the business that I'm in, I went to them and asked them, what helped you? What made you become successful? How did you become making $100,000 in 1 month selling mortgages? One guy last year did freaking $250,000 in 1 month. How'd you do that? And they always break down, I got a system. I do this, I do that, I do this repetitively and do that, and that's where I get to here. That's a plan. That makes sense? I had a plan in place. I got these systems in place. And I do this, that's going to end up translating to this. And I said, wow, strategic planning is important. But there's 2 caveats. These are the last 2 things. The most important currency in life, the most important currencies in life. Can anybody guess what they are? The most important currency. I say currency because currency is like spending, right? Okay. Time and what? First of all, why would you say time? Time. Why?
Because it's always fleeting and you can't get it back.
No, you definitely can't get it back. So you got to use it wisely, right? You better invest that right. What about the other one? Would be relationships. Those are the 2 most important currencies I carried throughout my whole life. I wouldn't be here with y'all if it weren't for William. That's how they come. I wouldn't know William unless I was part of country club. Even though we'd seen each other in passing at the Rotary, I wouldn't know Ron today if it wasn't for William. I mean, all this stuff come down to a freaking, just all connections. I wouldn't know Steve Beecham if it wasn't for my man T. I wouldn't know him. Steve Beecham called me on the way up here. I don't know if y'all met Steve. Cool dude. It's like I've known him for years. Really, like I'm normally the one that people say, it's like I've known him for years. But it's never been translated back to when I talk to somebody and I'm like, I think I know this dude already. But that wouldn't happen if I didn't know Will, to my man T, to everything else coming together. So I started thinking about how can I be successful in life? I had to actually know what success means to me. And the way I found out what success meant to me was follow those 4 pillars for myself. I wouldn't have got into the room if I didn't even look the part first. Because some people say, well, so-and-so don't wear a suit. Well, you're not so-and-so. You're not Steve Jobs, well, late Steve Jobs. You're not him. He got to a point to where he can do that. You're not Jay-Z, so you can't wear your hair like a plant. Jay-Z already got to where he want to be, right? I'm not Will. I can't do certain things because that's not who I am. All I can do is what's for me that will make me be beneficial or someone of value to y'all. Like I ask young people all the time, I say, if I came in with some this and that on, would you listen to me? I'll probably listen to you if you're keeping it real. But if I came in there with they're looking like what the kids I speak to, they wouldn't have paid attention to me. It just don't work that way. So appearance was important. Educating, understanding, I had to educate myself on who I was and what I bring to the table. Relationships, understanding the value of relationships, understanding the importance of building, having a plan in place, and understanding those 2 currencies of time and relationships being the most 2 important currencies in life helped me get to where I am today. It helped me get to where I'm going to go later. All right. So really focus on what you want to do. If you want to be successful in being an insurance agent, let's make sure we focus on what that is first. Have the focus question in mind. What's the one thing I can do that make everything else easier or unnecessary? Do y'all get that? What's the one thing I can do to make everything else easy? It's like you're fighting against yourself when you're doing something you're not supposed to do. What can I do to make sure to make everything else unnecessary? What is that? What can I do? Well, I know I don't play the banjo, so I don't need to try. It's cool to pick it up on the side, but it's not going to get me paid to do those things I want to do to help my family and those around me, help my dad go on a mission trip. You follow what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all today, man. I want to encourage y'all to continuously strive to be better. Look at those 4 pillars in the book. It's a little even notes in the back you can write in there, little lines full of notes. And it's a thin book, so it'll help you get through. And if you don't want to read it, I got an audio version too. You can go to troymsmith.com and get that, so you can just hear it play on you. But I appreciate y'all, man. I hope y'all much success and become national champions too. Cool.